Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law through this channel. I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a genuine investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at MMTLP and asking the question, why has the S1 not yet been approved? We're also going to be looking at a new legal update that in terms of breaking news from today. And we're also going to be looking at earnings for AMD, which has been a significant beat today. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening first of all in the markets. And in our market news channel on the Discord, we did share live news from the Fed, and they have held the benchmark rate at 5.25% to 5.5%. And in terms of some of the comments, they have stated that they're looking for greater confidence in the markets in terms of inflation going closer to 2% before they consider a rate cut. So I think so far what I have seen is that the markets are responding quite positively. So let's see how that continues. And from Market Watch here, we can see the Treasury is poised to end July with the longest stretch of monthly rallies in years. So it wasn't a good finish to the month, but for the whole of July, we have seen a significant bullish market. So if we have a look at the heat map just for today at time of editing, we can see a strong comeback in technology sector, except there top left hand side for Microsoft. We released earnings and I believe earnings was a narrow miss. So we can see here as soon as the news came out, it went down close to 7% and wiping out approximately $100 billion in market cap virtually in seconds. So if we look at the chart here, there was an opportunity potentially to get this below $400, close to even $390. So certainly I think anything below $400 from Microsoft would certainly be a good hold for the long term. Before we look at MMTLP, I am pleased to note some breaking news, and this is from Jerome Powell himself, and he has stated that a rate cut could be on the table in September. So great news here, and the markets are responding positively, and I can see that the overall significant areas of green in the market. So good news there. So let's move on now to have a look at MMTLP. So first of all, today is an important day. So shout out here to Meta News, who stated today marks 600 days since MMTLP was halted by FINRA, and it's still ongoing. So let's go on to the S1 now, and what Michael has posted tagging in Next Bridge Hydrocarbons has stated, in terms of a question, please give us an update on the following. First of all, with regard to the 10 Qs, assuming they are complete, curious why they're not showing up on Edgar and why we have not had news of them. And I think the big one that most shareholders are looking for is the S1, and the question is Next Bridge Hydrocarbons currently waiting for the SEC to approve this? And we certainly would like an update. So first of all, a follow up here from Michael. He states it's unethical for the SEC, led by Gary Gensler himself, to delay approving the S1 for Next Bridge Hydrocarbons. Next Bridge does have a right to move on with their business without corrupt hedge fund protection. And he's got what Q-Entertainment goes on to say is he doesn't think the SEC will improve the S1 while there is an investigation underway. So I think this investigation does not involve Greg McCabe, but it does involve John Berda and George Palacara. So I think he's referring to that. The delay proves that they are sitting on it, and in terms of until they can get a handle on everything. But the thing that makes the delay so ridiculous, it certainly is one of the longest S1s that have not yet been approved so far in the market that I have personally seen, is that the community have collected and provided more than enough evidence to reinforce and speed up the investigation, and it is staggering that it is taking so long. And another important post from Q-Entertainment in terms of a reminder for the community on this 600-day anniversary is a reminder for everybody out there who needs to be aware of the MMTLP fiasco, is how FINRA broke the law several times. So let's have a reminder for everyone, and highlighted here, the key rule that most investors are aware of that was broken, highlighted at the bottom in green, is unless the corporate action documentation is found to be deficient under Rule 6490, in which case FINRA may determine not to process the corporate action. So we can see here this rule is significant there in terms of FINRA breaking their own rule. Let's now have a look at the new legal update against TradeStation and FINRA, and we can see here on the court listener page there has been an update, and that update is today, July 31st 2024, and there's a response to the motion, opposition to the motion to dismiss. So we're going to have a look at details of that, and what Mark has posted is that a filing has been made within the hour. So let's have a look at details in terms of a conclusion with regard to this filing. So we'll have a look at this in a follow-up video in more detail, but for now we can see in terms of the plaintiff as well as the 65,000 approximate members of MMTLP, they have so far received no answers from the regulators, including FINRA. So congressional efforts and hearings and demand letters have all been sidestepped, and by its very existence there is an implicit bias to protect its member brokers. We're talking about FINRA there, and the complaint in this action there's no claims against FINRA, no relief against FINRA, so FINRA should not have anything to hide, and the plaintiff is requesting that the court deny the nominal defendant, which is FINRA, their motion to dismiss it from its lawsuit against TradeStation. So it looks like FINRA will have a vested interest in making sure that this case against TradeStation does not go ahead, and we can see confirmation here that this was submitted on today, 31st of July, electronically with the clerk of the court. So bang on the deadline. Finally, I'd like to finish off by sharing news with regard to the earnings for AMD, and this was shared live in the Discord. And as soon as we got the news, AMD hit over 10% on news with regard to strong earnings. So let's move on to have a look at first of all the chart, and we can see at one point it did go in excess of $152. It has consolidated a little bit right now at time of editing, just in excess of $144, but still up in excess of 4% on the day. So I do expect this trend to continue. So let's have a look at a key highlight which I think is important from the data center segment, and this is looking at the second quarter of 2024, comparing it with the same period of 2023. So we look at revenue is up from 1.3 billion to 2.8 billion, and we can see in terms of operating income it's up 743 million versus 147 million a year ago. So overall in terms of revenue, a huge jump there. But let's have a look at an overall summary. Revenue is up 9% year on year to $5.8 million, and that's $100 billion, and that's $120 million beat. Gross margin is also up 49%, and that's also 3 points up year on year. Operating margin overall is 5%, and that's 5 points up year on year. So earnings per share was also a beat at 69 cents. So overall great news for AMD. If we have a look at the income statement here, we can see total revenue 5.8 billion, cost of revenue 3 billion, gross margin 2.9 billion, and they are making money from the data center, from clients, from gaming, and also from embedded. And finally, let's have a look at news with regard to Nvidia, and we can see here breaking news that AMD was up 5% as global chip stocks rally after earnings and geopolitics lifts the sector. So most of the tech stocks and semiconductor stocks especially are up quite significantly today in the market after a strong sell-off earlier, but overall good news here for AMD. And I think potentially what we have seen in other stocks, including Nvidia, Microsoft and others, that there were significant buying opportunities. So if you would like to get news with regard to breaking news of stocks, due diligence, also a copy of our daily stock alerts and weekly watch list, details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.